welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse. And it is October, so it's spooky season. And today we kick it off with Treehouse of Horror number 6.
Treehouse of Horror from season 7. It had 3 stories. The first one was Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores. Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace was number 2. And then number 3 is Homer Cubed. Very good one. There's lots of fun to be had. And, each story had its own little flavor.
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a favorite of the 3?
Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores. Definitely. I think that's my favorite.
That's probably my favorite too, although I really do appreciate Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace a lot.
That was a close second to me,
right.
Because here it is, Freddie, of course, which is a Freddie parody. I really like.
I appreciate all of them for different reasons, honestly, but that one I might have to edge the Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace into my number 1, and then. The Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores is number 2.
Giant monsters destroying stuff, that's kind of like
it's your thing.
My thing. I'm a big fan of that, so when you give me that, I'm happy.
Right. I understand completely. I am a fan of the Freddy Krueger and of the Willie, groundskeeper Willie, so that's what gets my vote today.
I dig it. Well, why don't we go with our first line? Give me your line number 1.
Oh, lousy smarch weather.
I knew it.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi, Vincent's here.
I knew that I kind of figured maybe you would go with that too, so.
I did not.
Okay,
I
so
gave that one to you.
March sets it up with the, it happened on the 13th hour of the 13th day of the 13th month because they had a misprint in the calendars and that lousy smarch weather, which someone quotes frequently in our house.
And somebody else has put up on pegboards in the winter, so.
Yep, lousy smarch weather. Yep. So, of course, this is the episode it came from. I had to reference it. What about you?
So mine is from Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesores, and this giant guy walks out of a building. Chief Wiggum shoots him, and he says, they're not so tough. And then Lou says, Chief, that wasn't a monster. That was the captain of the high school basketball team. And then Chief's like, yeah, well, he was turning into a monster, though.
Turning into a monster, clearly. It's that, I don't know, I just love that whole segment of this as well with all of the advertising creatures and critters coming together.
Based on products that are really out there, some of them, so that was good. What about you?
Oh boy. I'm going to go with, the Miracle Mile, where value wears a neon sombrero and there's not a single church or library to offend the eye. I actually wrote a few down because there were some
There's
great
some good ones, yeah.
So
that was awesome.
What about you?
All right, so mine is from the Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, my number 2, and Homer and Marge tell Bart and Lisa the whole backstory of Willie becoming the Freddie character. And Lisa says, Bart, do you realize what this means? The next time we fall asleep, we could die. And then Grandpa says, welcome to my world.
It's true. I also have to give a shout out to a Willie line. When I'm done with you, they'll have to compost-mortem you. Instead of post-mortem.
Yep.
Compost-mortem.
Clever puns.
Right. Had to say it. What about your scene?
All right, so I got a couple scenes here, but I am going to go with the eyesores one, where Homer, of course, it all starts when Homer steals Lard Lad's giant donut, and so Marge tells Homer that if he gives the giant donut back to Lard Lad, it'll all stop. So Homer says, okay, if it'll end horror, he gives the big donut back to Lard Lad. Lard Lad holds it up like he's going to go back to his normal pose. And then, no, he starts using it to smash stuff, cars, roofs, kicks a dog across the street, and then walks down the road smashing more houses. And Homer's like, you ever get tired of being wrong all the time? It's a Marge.
I know. Poor Marge.
But the whole, it's not going to work, you know. He thinks it's going to work. Everybody thinks it's going to work. Lard Lad schools everyone by pretending it's going to work and then destroys more stuff. So that was my scene. I liked it a lot.
This is not my scene, but I just have to tag on to your scene that part of the destruction phase is the planter's peanut with the monocle, and he's opening cars like you would a peanut and popping the people in his mouth like you do peanuts, and it's very clever.
Yeah.
So I had to throw that in there.
Very fun.
I am gonna have to go with the opening credits as my all-time favorite scene, and I know that it's not part of the segment, but it opens with Krusty the Clown as the Headless Horseman, and he takes his head and he throws it at the camera, and it splatters to give us the Treehouse of Horror number 6 in blood, which is just, I love it.
Yeah, it's iconic, you know. Mm-hmm. Interesting thing. I read a little bit of trivia, and they were going to do a whole montage of Simpsons characters doing different famous horror characters, but they ran out of time, and one of them was going to be Flanders being Leatherface. Nice. But they ran out of time, and they just stuck with Krusty being the Headless Horseman.
That would be great.
pretty
Krusty
neat.
as the Headless Horseman is a winner. And who is your loser this week?
My loser is going to be Kang and Kodos.
Okay.
Because at the very end of the Lard Lad episode, they're trying to get to Earth Capital, and they're hitchhiking, and they're going to pretend they are newlyweds on their way to Earth Capital. And the Lard Lad donut rolls by, and they think they're going to get a ride from the Lard Lad donut, and it keeps on going because they're too silly to know it's not a car. And they didn't get their ride, and they still got to hike through the desert to get to Earth Capital, whatever city on Earth that is. I don't know.
I think that they were hoping a hitchhiker would know, or somebody that picked them up would know where the Earth Capital is, and they would take them directly.
They're just going to read that sign they made, and there it is.
And not think anything is wrong, because clearly that's how normal humans talk.
Right. So they're my loser.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, oddly enough, I went with the captain of the basketball team that you mentioned in yours, because he got shot by him, and Chief Wiggum just thinks he's a monster, and instead he's just an extremely tall captain of the basketball team. So he's my loser this week.
Very good.
What about your winner?
My winner is Paul Inca. Because he got a jingle job out of this whole thing. And I'm sure they got paid.
Also wrote Paul Inca
You wrote
down.
Paul Inca down.
Yes, he got a jingle and a guest appearance on this episode. So
that is true.
Winner for sure.
Winner all around.
I also wrote down Earth Capital as a winner because they didn't get invaded by aliens this episode.
That goes back to my loser. That's perfect. They lost and Earth Capital won.
We always have to have a few backups just in case we match, which we sometimes do.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely great episode, Treehouse of Horror, episode 6. This is from season 7 because they did not do a Treehouse of Horror in the first season of The Simpsons. It is viewable on a few streaming stations, and you can, of course, watch it on DVD as well. There are some really great funny moments in all 3 segments. We did not discuss Homer Cubed at all, so let's just kind of discuss that for a minute. I looked up some trivia on that, and what happens in Homer Cubed is the animation style changes, and it's computer generated, and it is actually one of the early computer generated animations that's out there, and it appeared just maybe 2 months before Toy Story, which is the first full motion picture of all computer generated animation.
Cool.
which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
And it does have some great moments, but it obviously wasn't one of our top faves for this particular segment.
But a funny thing is I did have a backup loser, and my backup loser was the third dimension, because Chief Wiggum shot the third dimension and it collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So Chief Wiggum shooting stuff in this episode is creating losers.
It's true.
So there's that anyway. Give you that as a bonus
That's
loser,
pretty great.
and it does tie into the Homer Cube one. That's great trivia though. I
Yep.
like that a lot.
And bonus winners for you. You also had both cats on screen today, which is a rarity, and they are both staring at us wondering what is happening in here. So thank you for tuning in to our wacky world of Coming Up Milhouse. Next week we will return with another Treehouse of Horror episode, and that, if you would like to watch ahead of time, will be from season 8. It is Treehouse of Horror number 7. So tune in, and until next time,
Jiminy Chillikers!
Wheel him out quietly. It's best the children don't see him. Oh, just get it out of here. Not into the kindergarten.